So the two today's class is all about today's class is all about pivot table as I've sent to us on the WhatsApp page, especially anybody that wish to study ahead before the class started. So the data set we'll be using for pivot table is this. We've used this before, and I think we did something on this, just like we try to clean this data. This is just like a product from Apple where we have region, we have quantity, we have store ID. Then we try to bring out some insight from this data using uh, Excel formulas and functions. So that's what brought the ideas of these, and we are able to picture everything in this 36 rows of data. We're able to picture it in just a small format, and we're able to see, okay, this the amount, the quantity of this kind of iPhone sold in this particular region, and we're able to design some conditional formatting to really see the the trend in that data and the pattern when the quantity is going up and when there's a bad sale in that particular region. So now instead of just writing locking, because some are even confused about the lockings and the like. So instead of just doing that hard, there is a pivot table make it more easier and convenient for you to do. So I'm going to start. That's why I just want to start with this data so that I can show us how we can use pivot table instead of writing functions and formula. Although it is very good to know how to use formulas and functions, because at times pivot table can give you a result that is not what it's supposed to bring, because at times there can be some error in the calculation. So but if you actually know how to use formula and function, you can easily use it to validate if what you are expecting, because it's very good. Before you give out your result or your insight, you should be very sure about that result, because as a data analyst you can bring a company down within a second. Just like as a data analyst, they depend on you to make some serious decision, and if you are giving them a decision or you are just giving them what is not meant to, and they may at times you get to a point in your career whereby they will not question your analysis. Like what they just need is, what is the recommendation on this particular issue, and once you tell them, they will want to follow it. So if you are not telling them something that is wrong, like you can bring the company down in a second. So it's just always good, even when after running your analysis, you must try to validate those points if what you are expecting is what you are getting. Because at times you may think that you clean some data. You will see, we are going to experiment it and see it in this data set. So we are going to see it here. Okay, somebody raise up his hand. Please, can you go ahead and say something before I start the class? Shino Ujo. Go ahead and speak. Okay. Hope you have access to some previous videos that we've done during the class. Have- Okay, have you tried to watch them, and how far were you able to catch up with them? Okay. I will probably communicate with you after that. I will communicate with you. I will communicate with you. So, who else want to? Oh, David Amadi. Please go ahead and speak before I start teaching. Good evening. Hello. I, I, I did class. Please, I will message you later. Okay, what is just the major thing is getting the video, because for me now I cannot really. It's just like what I can actually do is, if you are new, you get the video, watch it. Probably there's a place you don't really get, you can refer to me, or probably I will just try to look maybe for a day to just explain that part. But for now, the only thing I can say is get the link to the video, then try to watch them one after the other, then practice what is in the video. Then if you are not facing any challenge, you can message me. I'll surely reply you. So thank Okay, okay. I'll give. So back to our classes. This particular data set, we've used it before, and I'm just trying to show us what we've done about it. And there is already a video for it, especially for people just joining. So you can just watch it and try to, if you are not getting it, then you can refer back to it or ask questions. So this is the actual data, because these are just like raw works, and also when I'm practicing them, or probably working or doing something before the class. So that's how I did this. So, and these are just like just a single data. So in your own, if you are following along, just open your own to, or probably import it to your Microsoft Excel. Then this is the data we are working with. We have region, we have store ID, we have product, we have quantity. Especially for people that are not new, this is just something worked on before, using some if to get some. We use transpose, we use unique, we use some if, we lock some rows and column just for us to get some certain insight. But now, using a pivot table, anytime you want to use a pivot table, the first things that you have to do is just click in here. So when you click on here and you highlight everything, the first thing you should always try to check is duplicate from your data. So check the duplicate. Duplicate is part of data cleaning and data validation. So the first thing is checking for the duplicate. And how can you check for the duplicate? So, so how can you check for duplicates? In this Microsoft Excel 365, uh, you can click on data if you are using this particular Microsoft Excel 365. If you are using it, you can click on data. Then when you click on data, you will see remove duplicate from here. So you can easily click on it. So when you click on it, it's going to load. So it's loading. It will ask you if your data has headers, or probably select all column. So you can, because our data actually have headers. So click on OK, and let's see what is going to happen. This is telling us that there is no duplicate, and I believe we know what duplicate means. Duplicate is just like repetitions of value. Just like if probably somebody is okay, somebody is David now, and he bought a particular product in a particular shop, and also there is this that sale also is repeated in another, like just like in that day or probably in another day, and it's exactly the same thing. So it can be like they recorded it twice. So it can be like they recorded it twice. That's why it's just like that. So basically, duplicate is just like a mistake, just like recording a sales or anything in two times, just like is a mistake sha. So repetition. So the first thing is try to remove duplicate, and you can see that from this data there is no duplicate. And also I can see from my data that iPhone, some iPhone under the categories of product, some has two eye while some has a single eye. So I have to just I can see now that my region is clean, my quantity is clean, and store ID, I don't really need it, because that's also another qualities of a data analyst. You must be able to sense the column or features that they will not contribute to the insight you are giving, or it will not contribute to your output or report. So you can, most of the time, especially in programming, we do drop those particular column, but here we don't really need to do that, because we can still work with others features without, we can neglect it and it's not going to affect our result. So here I can easily click on here. When I click on here, that shows I've tried to highlight this column. Then what I'm going to use here is I can click on home, just because I'm using 365. I don't know of other version, but it's still, some of them are similar, some are different. Because if I'm doing something and you are not seeing it on your own laptop, but once you hear the name, you can find a way around working with them in your own laptop, or you can Google it. So after highlighting it, you click on home here. In this on this you click on this icon here. Then we are going to see what is called find find. So what I'm going to do now is I want to find the incorrect spelled and try to replace them with correct spelled iPhone. So if I click on now, I can easily write my iPhone. So this the incorrect, this is what I want to find from my data set. Then I want to replace it with correct spelled iPhone. So so this is the correct spelled iPhone, then this incorrect spelled iPhone. So I have to replace them all. So I can see now that it matches, the matches replaces 20. So that is, I have 20 incorrect spelled iPhone in my data set, and I can see it now that everything has changed. So instead of, before in our previous class we try to use some if, we use transpose, we use delete, we use all those kind of function, but now we are not working with that. The first thing I'm going to do is also highlighting the all, just because I've tried to clean it, and my regions and quantity, there is no duplicate, everything is okay, it's just the product, and I've tried to make some amendment. Although when we are analyzing it, there can still be some errors that I have to come back to do, but now just with what I can see, there is no error. So after highlighting everything, I will click on data here. So I will click on data. So when I click on data, or no, is insert. So instead of, sorry for telling us that it's data. So you click on insert, at least there will be insert on your own Microsoft Excel. So just click on insert. When you click on insert, you will see pivot table and you will see table. But the first thing we're going to do is clicking on table, not pivot table. So we have to put them in table, because this is not in table, it's just like in the form of spreadsheet, in the form of this kind of sheet, but not actually in table. So you click on the table after highlighting it, and try to check. that your table has a header, because you can see that there is header just like region, store ID, product and quantity. Click on OK. After seeing that, you've marked that your table has an header, so you're still working on it. So yeah, fine, cool. So these our new versions of data now, after putting them in table. So now we can now work. And also I think somebody asked of filters and the likes, or how to filter your data set one time like that. You can see now that putting your data in a table will allow you, like, it will be very very easy for you. You can see now that clicking on this, I can see America. So I can uncheck now. Let me uncheck and leave only America. So I want to leave America. That is, I want to see only America data. You see when it takes effect now, it's still loading. So you see now that the only thing that you can see here, so the only thing that you can see here is only America data set. I'll filter them by removing other parts. So it's not going to show other parts. You can only see America data just because I've filtered my data. At times it can be in terms of other things. I can filter based on iPhone 11. If I click on iPhone 11, that's the only thing that's going to show, especially when you are working with a large data set that is too much that you cannot imagine. So you can just put your data in a table. Once you put it in a table, it's going to create a filter for you. Then you can filter those items or those categories based on some certain features or certain categories, so that, yeah, you can see now that this is just this. The normally the data has 36 rows, but now we can see as short as it is, just because I've used filter. So now I want to return it back to how it look like. So let me just click marker. So if I click marker now, you see that it's going to display everything again. So now my data is back to normal. So my data is back to normal now. So now I have 36 data. So after putting it into, I just try to explain how filters work. So after putting it, then I can easily click on my pivot table. So then click on that. So when I click on it, it's going to, you can see my screen here. It's asking me if I want to put the pivot table in a new sheet or probably on this existing sheet. But the best thing is to put it on a new sheet, so that it will, our insight will be more clean, so that it won't be messed up with our previous data and the inside. So you can just try to put it in a new sheet. That's why it's giving this two options: new sheet or existing sheet. So, and you can see Excel is so powerful. Even if it is Google spreadsheet, they are also the same. So you can see now that it's suggesting for me the pivot table that I can implement in my data set. So if I just fall for any of them, I can easily pick them. And you can see now that it's giving me here iPhone, this the product, and it's giving me here region, and it's trying to place those things here. So he suggested a lot. He suggested based on ID. He suggested based on ID, regions, and probably product. Can you see here just product ID? So that's just how it's going to suggest, especially if we are not really good at it. But my own, I'm going to build it from scratch. So I'm not going to use any of the recommended. So I'm just showing us that it's very, very possible if you don't really have, especially if those data sets are too large and you don't probably know the kind of insight or the kind of question you want to answer. this can actually help you. And I think there is a analyze features too that you can easily use, and this pivot table recommendation is very powerful. You can test it in other maybe Google spreadsheet and the like to see those suggestion, and you can even try them one after the other, try to implement them one after the other so that you can compare, especially if you have time to work on a particular project. Try to implement them, those suggestions, and try to see the one that really makes. You may not really need to bother yourself too much if you actually see a good one recommended, so you can just pick any of them and see if that is giving you a good insight. So now I'm going to click on new sheet, and I'm going to wait for it to show in another tab. It's still loading. So so now it has load and is now in another. So I'm waiting for this to completely load so that I can start. Okay, good, awesome. So now these are from our data set. We have region, we have store id, we have product, we have quantity. So now I can, that's, in our previous classes we know that our product is in column while our region is in row. So all these things are very, you see, let me just try picking them. Let me start by product. So when I click product now, you can see here that product as show, which comes in, just like you pick it as iPhone 11, 12, 6, 7 and 8. These are just the major iPhone. That's the in the table we have, in the table so in the table different we have so many repetition of iPhone 11, 12. That is based on the sales. They try to repeat them. So this just bring out the unique value. That is, if iPhone 11 is in 20 places, it's going to pick just one, just because it's just everything is just iPhone 11. So you try to pick the unique value out of that data set, and you can see we have only 11, 12, 6, 7 and 8. These are just the unique value in that product. Then I can go by clicking on my region, because these are like, I want to know how the sales of this product in this particular region. And you can see here, you can see what is displayed here. So if we don't really understand it, that's when the problem will be coming. But now I need to look into it, that okay, will this give me a good insight? So you can see, just categorize, okay, iPhone 11 is sold in Americas and APAC, EMEA, and also iPhone 12. You try to just categorize them. So now I need to put it in row so that it will not. So I will just click on this. When I click on here, I will add it to row. So if I add it to row, let's see what is going to happen. Oh, region. Okay, product. Let me add product to column. I will add product to column. Product should be, okay. Is product, is region that need to be in column, while row in row. This will not give us. Okay, let me add then product. then product. Let me check this. Okay, product in row. Okay, now perfect. So I'll put the product in row just like the way we worked on it in using sum if. So product is now a row in a row format while the region is now in column format. Then what else that we need? Store ID is not really unique to any product. So we don't need to make our analysis to based on store ID. And what our major concern is how this particular product is being sold, like that is the growth of this particular product in this certain region. So now our next focus will be on the quantity. So how is this particular product growing in this particular region? So now I'll click on quantity. I'll click on quantity and we can see that e automatically fill in those gaps. So now we can see that iPhone 11 has two 300 and 985 sold in America. The quantity sold in America is 3,985 of iPhone 11. Let me try to increase my view to make it more bigger. So let me click on this. So I think you can see it properly now. So you can see that this product iPhone 11, 12, 6, 7, 8, you can easily see how this stuff is been growing, the sales of each particular product, that is iPhone 11, the quantity of iPhone 11 sold in America in other region, and you can see the total of iPhone 11 sold altogether, and you can see the percentage, or you can turn this to percentage, you can put it in any form, but just because this is just what we did with Excel formulas and functions, and we are able to implement it using pivot table. And I believe, okay, let me just give space for question based on what I did, so that probably I can, before I proceed to new things and even work with the new data. So if you have question, you can use the sign button so that I can call you to ask, or if there's no question, if I should just continue with what I'm explaining. Hello, are we all cool with what? Good evening. Yeah, product and, like, this data is the data we use for the this data is data set we use for the last class. So did you put them in table? Did you put them in table, inside table, before you use pivot table? In table, and you had your table as a header. Did you click on that? Okay, let me see. Okay, I'm coming. So instead of product America, and hope you put them in like product is in row, column is in region, abi region is in column, while the quantity is in value. And it's not bringing it this way. Yes, row label. That shows you can actually rename it. It may be just because of that fashion. So you can rename it to anything. It's possible to rename. Yeah. Okay, you're welcome. So any more questions? Any more questions on me? Okay. Hello, I'm with you. Okay, okay. If you download it, it's not as if it's like abi. I did not upload it to probably any cloud platform. If you click it, it should come to. If you click it, it should come to your probably your download folder or your desktop. Is anywhere you specify that is going to go into. Then you try to upload it. Okay. Maybe that's from your own laptop. That shows it. Maybe it's probably from your device. Or is anybody facing that particular challenge? That's why I try to send it again because the first one is in zip format. Yes, I have to unzip it and resend it again. Oh, it's because you are using PS Code. Maybe that's why you can go and set open with, so you can open it with Excel instead of PS Code. It may be like the setup of the system. Okay, okay. You're welcome. So any more? You're welcome. You're welcome. Any more questions? Any more questions? Okay. Good evening. Okay. Let me quickly do that. Let me quickly do it. You're welcome. Mm. The new place. I just want to move back to. I'm trying to look for the raw data that we can use because I've done something on most of them so that it can show the process again. Okay, let me just use this. Mm, I'm trying, I'm trying to, let me just quickly. So if we're having any issue with it, we can still, this is just like second time that we can still take our time to, and I believe this will give us a good background on the second data set because that one is kind of large. I think it's something maybe 30,000 here. So we can easily, so I just try to, so this I've already cleaned this and I think we don't have issues with that. So if you click on insert now, I can click on table. So if I click on table, it's going to ask me, they're still working on it, still waiting. So it's going to ask me if my table has header. So if this is unchecked, just try to check it. Try to click on it. Then you can just click on OK. So when you click on OK, it's going to give your data, it's going to put them in a table format. So then you can work with filtering of your data if you like. Probably you just want to see some certain product or region or maybe quantity, or if you put your value, your quantity in a range, so you may want to see some certain range and you can actually filter them. So then you, after putting them into table and you click like this, you can click on pivot table. So you see it has two options. It has so I've clicked on it, asks both from table range or from Power BI. So we are working with table range and it has display here. So it's asking me if I'm going to work on new sheet or probably existing sheet. So if I click on new sheet now, it's going to give me a new sheet whereby I can easily draw my insight. So now I told us that it's going to give some suggestion. That's what we can see here. So if we try it on our own laptop too, it will give us, especially if we don't really have ideas of the data. So for me, I'm not working with the recommendation version. So I'll just click on the name. I'm waiting for it to load. It's going to give me on another sheet whereby I can easily put up my insight. So I'm still waiting for it to load. So so now it has load. Then I can just these are just like pictures of my data set. So I can click on what I want to probably what I want to be in the row, what I want to be in the column, what I want to filter my data with, what I want to put in my value. So I can put my products products to come in. Okay, product is already in a row. Then my region in column. So you can set here by clicking on here, you can use it to set, you can use it to add. Although in some Microsoft Excel, it comes in a very easy format that you can easily drag it or probably put it inside. But this just come in I don't know why it is like this. But in some Microsoft Excel, it comes in a divided format so that you can easily assign. So I should add this to my column. I will add my region to column. So if I click on column, it's going to bring my region. You can see now. Then I need to click on my quantity because these are my targets. So and you can see it here that everything work perfect. So we can see the quantity of iPhone 11 sold in America. This. So this just what pivot table just give us without giving us headache. If you are writing this with Microsoft Excel functions and formula, I think I've explained it before, you see that it took us a lot of stress before we are able to pick, before we are able to draw the insights by writing those formulas and functions. But pivot table help you to do that instead of more stress. Then putting it in this way, you can use insert button. You can use the insert icon just like this. You can see some, you can insert charts. So I can just let me just try this particular chart and see how it look like. So this can be, you can put this in a just like a, you can put it in another sheet rather if you don't want it to disturb your chart so that to make your work more cleaner. So and in this chart you can see that the insert the insight is more is more feasible to see. iPhone 11 has the highest sales in America and you can see it. But they said there is an adage that said a thousand a picture worth a thousand words. So putting this picture, you can see that it easily gives the whole insight of what is in this particular table. So you can work with different kind of, you can put the chart title, what you are trying to illustrate or what you are trying to show. And when it comes to presentation too, you will learn how to put those insights in a form where you have to put them in a presentation in a PowerPoint to present your findings to people. And concerning the groups I want to put us in, it's possible we do it in a way that we have to present. We just pick a class that we allow probably the team will there will be someone that will present the solution. So we just make a class whereby everybody will come with their representative telling us that okay, we downloaded this data set, we did this, we did that. This is the insight we are able to see in a presentation format, not even in Excel format. But this kind of feature can be downloaded from Excel or probably copied to express it and try to write one or two things with it, because most of the time nobody cares about your Microsoft sheet, they only cares about the insights. So ability of you bringing out some pictures or uh, some visualization that really say that really back up what you are trying to say based on the data, that's the major skill. So let me just go to the next sheet before our time is fast spent. So I've tried some of them before. So I have to click on the one I've not done anything on so that we can both learn how to do it. So checking these data sets, I think maybe it's like 100 and something thousand row. So this data is so large that it will be very, very difficult to actually work with. And one of the things that can help us to get insight from this particular data set is using pivot table or probably designing a dashboard for it. But before you can design, because dashboard rely on pivot table. If you don't know how to do pivot table, it will be very, very difficult to do a get dashboard or probably any kind of dashboard, because most of those dashboard are always uh, things that you get from your pivot table. That is pivot table from your data, then dashboard rely on pivot table. So now we have features of date, we have day, we have month, we have year, we have column age, we have age group, we have column gender, we have country. And anytime I want to do an analysis, I always stay with my pen and book to easily write something that is I felt that there may be insights that I need to work with. So now I can see that there's a revenue, there's a cost, there is a profit, and there's a unit cost, there is other quantity, there are products. And from my own background, I would believe that year will be one of the criteria to look into, probably when looking for the insight. Country may be an important feature, that is they want to see the sales or the profit, just because I'm able to recognize the revenue. Revenue is just like maybe money they use to start the business, if I'm right. Then I know that profit is probably the profit, the gain they are able to get from a particular product or from a particular country. So me as a data analyst, I'm just, nobody give me any question, but I'm just trying to picture what should be necessary in my data set. I can picture that okay, they may want to know the profit of a product in some region or region which is like country. They may want to know profit made in some certain months. They may want to know the profit made in some years. They may want to see the product that is really performing best. They may want to see the gender that is consuming this particular product. They may want to It's just like you being able to picture. You can write so many questions and you can try to answer them as uh you can try to answer them just like, or probably when you want to go to your stakeholders or business owner or product or project manager that is in charge of that particular product that you are analyzing. So you may want to go to them with those particular questions. That is now the profit of the product in this region. Is it that this country is giving us more profit than this particular region? Should we try to improve our sales or probably work on our marketing team in this particular region? Or is it this year, or is it like our product is seasonal? That is, people tend to buy it between January to this particular store and they stop consuming our products from this. That is, we are working with year or we are working with month in a year. Or probably is it that uh our product is getting down. So you just like picturing how you can go about doing your analysis. Then when you try to draft them down, you can easily go to your stakeholder or probably the project manager and try to ask them that okay, this is what I'm able to picture, and try to ask them questions based on that to really know their mind. But these are something they will be very interested to know. So now, just like the same, I will click on this side of the data set, and anytime you are working on the data set, try to always duplicate your data or probably copy it from one particular sheet to another, because in case there is a mistake that you need to go back to fix something. So always try to don't work on that particular data set you are given. Try to always duplicate them or try to copy if they are not large, but if they are large, just click on duplicate. I think it's something here. So just click on here. Let's see. So we can see duplicates here. So you can see rename, you can see delete. So you just click duplicate. When you click on duplicate, it will give you another version of that data. So then you can now work on that another version, leaving your former data in case you made a mistake with your analysis, or probably you touched what you are not meant to touch. So you can easily go back to your original data, try to duplicate it again and try to get the real data source. So it's always advisable not to work on that particular data set. So now I have different version of this data set. So I'll just click on this. I've highlighted all. Then I will try to click on data. I think there is a shortcut for checking duplicates. You can just find that out. So I'll click on remove duplicate here. So I'll click on remove duplicate and it will ask me to select all column, and at times it can help you to select it already. So when it select it and try to check if my data has header. I know that my data has header. So if this is unchecked, you have to click on it to check that. So I'll click on OK to see if my data, if there is a duplicate value. And you can see here that the duplicate value in this data is 1000. 1000 duplicate value, found and removed. And we can see that this can even easily give us the count of our data or ideas. We can see now that we have 11 112,036 unique value. So we have, can you see that this data is very large? We have 112,003 and 36. So that's what remain after removing 1000 duplicates. So 1000 are repetitions and mistakes in that particular data. So I will just click on OK. That is, that's one step about cleaning my data. Then after that, I can just click on here. I can highlight my customer gender, and use. Let me click on home. So this is just like a sample of a big project. So I can click on find and replace. So I will click on find and replace. So clicking on find and replace, I want to replace M with a normal mail. Like I want to put the, to avoid shortcut, or to avoid, because at times it may be hard for some can interpret those things in another way. So it's better to just put it in a real format that they will easily understand. So I can click on replace all. It's working on it. So can we see now that it's able to replace 58,814. So I will close it. So now I can replace, I can find F2. So now let's come to F. Then what I want to replace F with, I want to replace it with female. So if I replace it now, so it's working on it. And I can see that it's able to replace it with 54,223. So if I close it now, I've actually cleaned my data, removing it from shortcuts to real value. And you can see, for me to work with 50 something thousands of row, if I'm cleaning it one after the other, it's going to take a longer time. So you can easily use find and replace. And if there's probably an error, you can easily see to correct, or probably improper spelling. So now I will click on, I will highlight my whole data set again. So then I'll click on insert. So click on table, just like the way we did it the other time. So I'll I will check this that my data has header. Then I'll click OK. So when I click OK, I'll wait for it to load. The data is very large, that's why it's kind of slow. Yes. Just try to enlarge your expand your space, like the column space, or the, yeah, just click on, you know how to enlarge those, enlarge it. When you enlarge it, it's going to, yeah, it's going to show properly. It's because you don't enlarge it. You're welcome. So once I put them in tab, like I put this data in table now, I'll just click on my pivot table. So after that, I'll click on my pivot table. Then once I click on that, I'm going to wait for it. Okay, now it has appeared here. So I'll just click on new sheet, so that it's going to give me a new sheet that I can work on my pivot table. So it's still loading. So it's still loading. Okay, now it has loaded just like the previous one. So now I've seen my this all my features like date, day, month, year, customer age group, customer male gender, we have country. These are just like those feature names, so we can easily feature them in the row, columns and value. So now the first thing that I'm going to work with is putting my country in row. So you click on country, where is country? So this country, I'll click on the country. So putting the country in row, just like the way we did for the first one. So now I will look for the revenue generated in those countries. So then we try to put my year. Also, I will try to look for the year, the growth of those revenue per year in each country. So we can see it now, and we can see that in Australia, these are the kind of revenue they generated. You can see in UK, but in this kind of format, it's not still giving us a clear picture. But this still like something because comparing the formalized data set, we can see that it's difficult to picture the insight from it. But here we can easily see the revenue generated in Australia, in Canada, in France, Germany, United Kingdom, US, and we can sort this data set probably from ascending order to descending order to know the one that generated highest revenue, and we can also compare by the year. But I'm just trying to show this. The one that we really work with is like working with the country and state, then the revenue, cost and profit, because major thing that I believe that it will be very very important to them is knowing the profit. Revenue is just like probably the money they use to start the business. I don't think they really cares about that. So what they really cares about is the profit. That is this are they making sense with what they are selling or their product, and try to compare each countries and states where those products are really making sense. So I will try to set it in terms of country and state, then the profit, check, putting the revenue, the cost and also the profit. So this is how we're going to go about that. And then I will try to put a filter too. So we can filter by some certain features that will make us to really see the group of this particular product. So I will start by putting my country and state in the row. So my country is already in the row side. So I will add the state with it. It's getting message. So let me add it to you. Then after that, I need to work with my revenue. Okay, my revenue is already. Let me uncheck the year. Then I'll click on the cost. Then on the profit. So after that, so now we have our revenue, we have the this cost, then we have the profit. But I'm going to hide those states so that it will allow us to really see what is going on. This is just like states in Germany. So I will try to collapse that too so that it will not show. That's one disadvantages of Excel. Once you start working with a big data, the experience will be poor. You're not going to be fast like working with small data sets. So I have to. So now I think this is more very okay to see. So now we are analyzing this particular data based on country. Then we are trying to look into the profit that is being generated. You know, as big as that particular data set is, we are able to put it in a very short format. And what is really necessary to those companies probably take the profit of their product in those regions. So we can see now that 60 this 67, I can put this in currency. Let me highlight it. Just because it's money, you can put it in currency, you can reduce the zero so that it will be more easier and convenient for you to do. If I click on this, so let me put it in currency, and I want to reduce the zero. Okay, let me do that for cost too. So let me put it in currency. It's just because it's money. That's why I'm trying to put it in currency. At times, a need may be that you have to put them in percentage. You can see those options. You have percentage, you have different kind of formats. So now I want to reduce the zero so that it will be very easy to see those amounts. Then let me click on the revenue too. Oh, let me first click on the currency. So after clicking on the currency, I'm going to reduce. So now we're able to achieve something. So I've changed it to currency, like if this in dollar, you can change it from probably dollar to another currency, but dollar is still okay. So this is it. The total revenue is this particular amount, and this is the total cost, this is the total profit. You can easily picture it and see the uh let me insert chart and let's see. So in this particular chart, we're able to see some of the profits. You can see now that some of the revenue is in blue, while some of the cost is in this, is it deep yellow? I'm bad at color. So and this ash is some of the profits. So we can easily picture it that in Australia we don't really have much profit, and you can see that they have the profit in United States is more than, and we can also compare them based on the revenue in a particular city, and we can rename this chart. We can see now that as big as that data set is, this can easily give us a clear pictures of what we need from the data. And also I want to put a gender filter here so that we can know probably this particular product is, they have more ladies, or probably the genders that that buy this product, or where they are able to generate more profit is from female or male. So I will add that in my filter here. So let me look for gender. And if you don't want to filter it by gender, it just depends on, like anybody can pick this data set and analyze it in another format, or probably what you can see, and probably the question provided for you to solve. So I'm just doing it here. Save gender. Oh, so it's going to, so I can click on, after adding that particular gender to my filter, I can just uncheck male. Then I can see, just based on male alone, we can see there's a change in our data set if we notice the change. So and also I can just, on female let me check on female alone and see the performance. So we can see that there is also a change in the profit, the cost and the revenue. Let me delete this chat so that you can see the changes very well. Mm. So now, so let's just look into it with our normal eyes instead of chat. So we can see now this is just like for female gender. You can see Australia is still the lead here, which generates 3,421,000. That's their profit made from female alone in Australia. Then we can check for Canada, France, Germany, United Kingdom. And if we try to click here again and filter by male instead of female, so let's see what is going to happen. You can see the difference between them. I think there is more profit with male than female. So we can easily see it and see the trend in our data. This pivot table is very powerful, and I encourage everybody to learn it more, because this the real powers of analysis, then how to build dashboard with them after getting the insight in pivot table. So let me just put it in select all. Okay, okay, I've added it all. So any question based on what I've explained so far? This is just like the principle of the first data set we work with. So it's still the same thing. So any question? Hello? Okay. Okay, so after picking those details, you did not understand the other. Okay, I will note them. Okay, okay. I was doing that. So any more questions? Hello? Yeah, I will explain it. I will explain it. So any more questions? Or should I just continue? Okay, I don't think other people have questions. Let me just continue then. So after picking my country, just because I want to know the sales in a particular region, it's just as if I'm working with region, country. Country is like a region. So we have Australia, Canada. Then I know that one of the major thing that is very necessary or very important to the business owner here is the profit. And probably the profit is the profit that is coming in from a certain region. So if there's a need for them to improve on the system they are using in a certain country, if their product is not making sense or they are not getting a good profit, or they should try to adopt what is giving them more sales or more profit in other country. So if they can adopt that to another country, or probably they are using different system, that they need to adapt to and try to figure out they can improve it. So the major thing that is very very important to them is profit. So knowing that, you must know that in your analysis profit must be there, and to confirm if your profit is actually accurate, you can easily picture your revenue and your cost, because you know that getting a profit is like cost, is like is it cost minus revenue. So the mathematics behind it is like you are minusing your cost from your revenue. So that's what gives the profit. So at times your pivot table can misbehave, or probably there is an error in that data. You can easily minus your cost from your revenue. That's the major reason why revenue and cost are there. So basically the most important thing is profit. The revenue. Okay, okay. So how I did that is, after getting the pivot table, I try to put my revenue, cost and profit in a value column, in a value box. You know, on your Microsoft Excel, immediately you click on pivot table. After putting your data in table and you click on pivot table, it's going to show a box for filter, rows, columns and value, if you are following along. So it's just like in my own Excel here, it show them in a vertical format. But I think it's always in both horizontals and vertical in some Microsoft Excel. So you will see filter, you will see row, you see column, you will see value. Then you know that anything that has a value must go in the box of value. So I put my sum of revenue, sum of cost, sum of profit inside value box. So then I put my, so it's just like value is in column, then country is in row. So you can see here. So it's just like you clicking it. These are just like those pictures. So you click it, and at times when you click it, it may not go to where you probably want it to be. So once you notice that when you click on it, it's not going to where you want it to be, you can easily click on this. When you click on this, you can add it here, so that you can force it to that place you want it to be. You can add it to filter, add it to row, add it to column, or add it to value from here. If when you click on it, it's not going where, because if it's not going where you want it to be, it will disturb the analysis. It will not display. It's just like when we are working with product region and quantity. If product is not in the place we want it to be, or probably our uh, our region is where the product is and the product is where the region is, there can be a conflict, or like them the analysis will not really be cleared enough and really show what is going on. So at times when you picture it and where you want it to be, like me now, at times I can even draw it. I do draw it in a book, then I will just draw one particles and horizontal, then I will try to put my data. Even beside me here, I have a table that I've drew before and put where I want this to be, I want this to be. So I can easily know where. It's just that anytime you are making an analysis, you can draw it out so that you will not get confused. You will know where you are expecting them to be. And if they are not there, you can easily force it by adding it here, by clicking on here and adding it, maybe like to row, to column, to value, or to filter. So when you do that, just because this is money, you can easily click on home. And I believe on every Excel, you will see, okay, let me click on home. Okay, you will see this particular box here where you see currency, you see general, you see, just like when I click here, you see number. If you are working with number, you see accounting, you see short date. If you are working with short date, probably long date or time, anything you are working with, or probably you want to put your number in percentage, so you can easily click on it. This where I change it, that's where there is dollar sign in those tables. So I click on currency, that's what gave me dollar sign. Then after doing that, there is a decimal point after those decimal places after those data. So I have to click on this here. So I click on this to decrease the decimal places so that it will not, the number will not be too large. So it's just like all these things are sums are, this is the first time of seeing something like this. You have to practice it and practice it to be part and part of it. So that is not, and it's not really difficult. Just picture it, try to draw it down, know what you want to do, and at times it can suggest them for you. So you can even pick from the suggestion, see how it look like, picture it. Is it really giving me the insight I want? And if not, you can clean that or probably ignore it or cancel it. Look at, look for another recommendation. Then you can just choose like 2 to 3 recommendation. Then inside that 3 to 2 recommendation, you can pick one or even combine them from different recommendation. Then you can just combine them, pick out some insight from the three and bring it into one. I believe I'm able to answer the question. You're welcome. So any more questions? So if there's no question, this is what I prepared to teach today, and in the next class I'll be teaching us how to put this kind of pivot table a in a dashboard, an interactive dashboard whereby you can click on a pictures that will control the entire visualization. So I'm going to do that in the next class. That will be on Thursday. Then on Monday, I'm going to send the topics. Already we have in the course outline, we have those topics of Python we'll be working with. You can just go and check on them. So I'll be picking them one after the other, because that, especially people that are new to programming, that don't need to rush. So I have to pick those topics per class, to teaching those topics. And if the time, because most of the time, especially in coding, even if I'm doing some things and you are seeing it that is working, you may do it from your own side and you are seeing another thing. So I have to take my time picking them one after the other. So we'll be starting that next week Tuesday. Then when we're able to finish Python, we move to SQL. So this is what I have for tonight. If there is no question, uh, let's call it a night. So I'm going to upload the video and try to send the link to us.